years ago, and I've not grown old of it. Somebody said, well, so many times doing the same thing, it gets old, it gets boring. There's nothing boring about serving the Lord. I'll tell you what, it's something that's real this morning, and it's something that's a blessing to the heart. Well, I want to share something with you today from the Word of God. Turn your Bibles, if you will, this morning to the book of Luke, chapter number 8. Luke, chapter number 8. I was looking at this, I guess it's been probably a week ago. The Lord put these scriptures on my heart, and I began to look at it here. And the Lord, He was with His disciples this day. He'd been teaching and came to a conclusion. And in verse number 22, I want to read there, if I may. Verse number 22. Luke chapter 8 and verse number 22. It said, now it came to pass on a certain day that he went into a ship with his disciples, and he said unto them, let us go over unto the other side of the lake. And they launched forth. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and there came down a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water, and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. And he said unto them, where is your faith? And they, being afraid, wondered, saying one to another, what manner of man is this? For he commandeth even the winds and the water, and they obey him. Now, the Lord here, again, was with his disciples. His disciples were, these men were, many of them were fishermen. They knew something about the water. No doubt they'd been on the water many times when storms would come up. It's said that the Sea of Galilee here is surrounded by mountainous terrain, mountainous area. And it's said that a lot of times the winds will come down out of those mountains and blow down on the sea there, and the waters will begin to rage and begin to roar there. It'll stir the waters up. Hope they have a lot of time for the waters to be stirred up in America. That's another message in itself. But here the disciples were, and the waters begin to be choppy. The waters the waves begin to fill the ship, and they were taking on water, and they were afraid they were going to go under. Now imagine there's times in life when we feel like if the Lord don't do something, I'm going to go under. These men were afraid there. They began to wake the Master, call upon him, and he ceased the water from raging and the wind from blowing. And I was thinking about that first verse there, verse number 22. He, with his disciples, he said unto them, let us go over unto the other side of the lake, and they launched forward. And I said, I've been saved now a little over 40 years. Some of you have been saved, no doubt, longer, a lot longer than that. And that's wonderful. Some been saved maybe not as long as that. But from the moment that you and I got saved, we started on a journey. We began a journey that goes from here to heaven. And I want to just kind of look at this story, and I want to use a thought this morning, passing over to the other side. As we pass from here to heaven, there's things that we will be called upon to suffer, things that we'll be called upon to endure. There's things that we will encounter as we travel to the other side. And I thought about this, and these disciples here were traveling to the Lord, and certainly, folks, there's going to come times when we will encounter storms in our life. Amen? We'll encounter storms in our life. I realize there's many storms that we face, and I know that last night, actually, there were storms came up out of South Carolina into Gaston County, on into Mecklenburg County, and other counties there, and had some folks kind of afraid there, no doubt, in some places. But these disciples were men that knew something about storms, yet they saw a storm here like they'd never seen apparently before. That's right. And you and I today are going to face storms in life. Sometimes they may be small storms, and sometimes they may be storms that seem like there's no answer for or no way that we can get through this storm there. And I thought about that. Storms will come, and well, you know, there's storms in life. Maybe there's a storm of grief in your life. There may be some. I know we've had a number in the church that have had loved ones to pass away here recently, and you're going through a storm today. You're suffering through a storm, and it seems like the storm is getting heavy, and it seems like the burden is getting heavy there. But rest assured that God realizes your storm today, and rest assured that God knows what your storm is today, and that God will ease your storm just as He eased the storm of these disciples there. But there's storms of circumstances. There's storms of things that we endure today, such as what we're doing now. This, in some ways, we're going through a storm there, battling the virus there. It's a storm that we're suffering in America, but it's also a storm that's spreading across the globe there. But folks, understand that God, through the ages, has touched and helped us when these storms come. Bless God, that God has given us the grace and the courage to face the storm. Thank God, just as He went out on the bow of that ship there. And listen, they were afraid and they were frightened. He went out on the bow of that ship there, and one of the writers said, "Peace, be still." Thank God, He's a God of peace today. He's a God of grace today. He's a God of mercy today. Thank God, He's your God. He's my God today. He is the God of this universe, regardless of what men might say today. Some say, "Is there a God?" Or some say, "If there is a God." Let me assure you today, God is real today, and He's alive today, and He's well today, and He'll help you in the storm that you're going through today.
Amen.
Storms will come. Their boat was filled with water. They were in jeopardy. They woke Jesus up. Not only storms will come, but fears will trouble us. Fears will trouble us today. These men were afraid. They woke Jesus up and said, "Look, Lord, look around. Our boat's being filled with water, and here you are asleep. Look around, Lord, the wind is blowing. Look around, Lord, the waves are crashing upon the ship here." Jesus wasn't troubled about the matter. Listen, He's God enough today that He can speak to a man and he gets up out of the grave. Yes. He's God enough today that He can call a man down from a sycamore tree limb and save him by His grave. He's God enough today to take a virus and with one swipe of His hand or the breath of His mouth, just move it out of the way. I'm here to report to you today, don't be afraid, fear not, for God is with us today. Amen. They were afraid. They said, "Master, we perish." Then He arose. We just celebrated Easter here just recently. The day that Jesus arose from the grave, from the dead. He arose from His sleep there. And look what He done. Rebuked the wind and the raging water, and they ceased. And there was a calm. Listen, my friend. We often forget in whose arms we're cradled safely today. We often forget in whose arms we're held safely today. My confidence is not in the world. My confidence is not in science. But my confidence is in the arms of God. In His arms today, I'm held secure. His arms reaches down and embraces us today and holds us in a time of fear. Well, we often forget who He is. We often forget the times that He brought us through previous storms. We often forget how that He was there when the fever was high. We often forget when the children were sick, how that God touched them and brought them through. Hey, He's a God. We forget in whose arms we're relying and lying in today.
That's right.
Right.
The waters ceased. I thought about old Zacchaeus there that was up that sycamore tree. No doubt there were some storms in his life. His life was troubled. He wanted to see who this Jesus was. And outside of Jericho, God had planted a tree. You think about that. God placed a tree for the man to climb in, for God to call him down out of. Amen. He went up lost. He come down right with God. Amen. Here Zacchaeus was a man that trusted God, a man that relied on God, rested in God's arm. And then not only that, not only storms come, fears come, not only do we forget whose arms holds us securely today. These disciples here, they look at verse 25, and he said to them, where's your faith? Where's your faith? Look now, and they, being afraid, look at this word, wondered. Another word there, one of the other writers said amazed there, marveled there. They were marveled. Listen, it doesn't matter how many times God does it, but when God does a work, doesn't it astonish us today? When God's hands at work, doesn't it move us today, astonish us today? It is an amazement when He reveals Himself there. When God revealed Himself there, look what they said. What manner of man is this? For He commandeth even the winds and the water, and they obey Him. They said, what manner of man is this? What kind of a man is this today? I'll tell you the kind of man. He's the God man today. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning. He's the end. He's the first. He's the last. He's the lily of the valley. He's the rose of Sharon. He's the bright and the morning star. Thank God. He's God today. Amen. There's an amazement when we see God's hand at work. Through the years, I've seen God's hand at work. I've seen folks, had a young man that was injured probably 30 years ago, close to it, injured in an explosion, had both hands blown off, had his eyes pretty much blown out. They had him hooked up to wires and breathing machines and all these things, and the family called, and I went down there to the hospital and prayed some there at the hospital, went back home. I said, surely this young man here, he's not going to make it. I say, preacher, where's your faith? You know, sometimes we're just fleshly. That's who we are. Sometimes, and listen, I'm not knocking you because it's happened to me. I looked at him there and I got my Bible down and I began to look for verses to comfort the family. Well, he said, preacher, I'm saying I began to prepare for a funeral service. But today that young man's got some things on his arms he uses for hands. His eyes, he can not see very well, but he can see and make out images who they are.
Amen.
What are you saying, preacher? I'm saying he still amazes me. I still stand at awe when I see the hand of God begin to work. Folks, listen, these disciples, they were amazed at what God had done in the fact that He spoke to the water and He spoke to the wind, and the wind quit blowing, the water laid down at His feet, and there was a great peace, a still there that day.
Amen.
Passing over to the other side. Now, until we get there, there's going to be storms we'll go through. This won't be the last storm that you'll face. This won't be the last dark, troubled time. We're living in troubled times today. We're living in a day today Paul spoke of, said perilous times shall come. Said men shall be lovers of themselves more than lovers of God. Oh, how that we need. And I appreciate this morning all that are here, but there's so many today, and I pray God will help you and you'll be able to get out here and come out here and join us here. As we fill this parking lot up for God's glory. Folks, this is making a statement to those traveling up and down this highway. This is giving glory and honor and praise unto God. It's lifting up the name of Jesus Christ. It's saying to those out there that He's important in our lives, that we need the fellowship with one another. I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but I miss you so bad I can't hardly stand it. And I just pray for the day that God will move the storm out of the way. He's going to move the storm out of the way, and we'll all be together again. Bless His name.
Amen.
Bless His lovely name.
Amen.
You out there this morning, say, preacher, I'm going through a storm. And I don't need to know what your storm is, but you need to know that my God can help you during this storm. say, preacher, I've never trusted the Lord as my personal Savior. I got a message the other day from an individual back home that was troubled, seemed to be under conviction. I've got a message this morning. Those that may be troubled, those that may be dealing with conviction. And if God's convicting your heart, it's not a bad thing. It's God's way of saying, I love you and I care. And in the midst of all your trouble, I want to be your Savior. You might be in that condition this morning. Maybe you're out there and you're lost and you don't know the Lord. Let me introduce you to Him today. He's the God of the storms, and He's the God of the sunshine. He's the God when everything's going wrong. And He's the God when everything is going just right. He's the God that I love today. And He's the God that loves me.
Amen. Yes.
The young children sing the song, Jesus loves me, this I know. For the Bible tells me so. I was thinking earlier on the way up here this morning, this thought about the storm. And I thought about one of the old hymns. It's something like it says, till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll together under the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of thy hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. The storm will pass, folks. Let's just keep trusting God. You that's not saved today, bow your head somewhere. Call upon Him. Call upon Him. He'll love you and He'll save you. Until the next time, may the Lord bless you and bless you is our prayer. Amen.